Hello everyone, this is Asha Best. Today I welcome you all in class 8th Civics first chapter, the Indian Constitution. Dear students, in this chapter we'll be studying about the Constitution of India. So let's begin. Why does a country need a constitution? The first question which comes to our mind while studying this chapter is that why does a country need a constitution? What is the requirement of a constitution in a country? All democratic countries are likely to have a constitution, but on the other hand, it is not necessary that all countries that have a constitution are democratic. It means that every country has their own constitution, but the constitution they are having, by this you can't say that there is a democratic system of government. So we want it because it has certain laws which everyone follows and thinks that according to those rules only a state should function. It also defines the nature of a country's political system. A constitution tells us what the fundamental nature of our society is. A constitution also helps us as a set of rules and principles that every individual of a country follows. They agree upon these directive principles, rules and regulations which helps a country to be governed, or they want to function those rules and regulations to help a country should run properly. It also secures our rights and do not allow any political party to misuse them. In constitution, the fundamental rights are given in a proper manner, and these fundamental rights help us to use each and every right in a proper way without any hassle. In democratic societies, the constitution often lays down rules that guard against the misuse of authority by our political leaders. Like I explained earlier also, no political leader or party can harm our individual fundamental rights which our constitution has given. There are different provisions for that. If somebody does so, he may be punished by the law. The constitution ensures that a dominant group does not use its power against less powerful people or groups. Like in India, it is a diversity, or you can say a country which is diverse in nature, like different religion, caste, or people live here in India. So what can happen in that case? Like the dominant groups, like the groups those who are in majority, can harm the rights of the minorities, but in according to our constitution it cannot happen, as the constitution or the judiciary system protects the rights of minorities. To explain this point, what we can say that it also helps us to protect against certain decisions of people, like if people will start unliking a particular party or its work, like it is given here, the constitution helps us to protect us against decisions that could have an adverse effect on the larger principles that the country believes in. Suppose in a democratic system of government, sometimes you don't like the rules, the regulations, or the work done by a particular party or particular government. At that point of time, you feel that this democratic system of government is not functioning well. So you should remove it, or you should try to function the change in the party or in the government system, like by introducing dictatorship. But after a certain period of time, you will yourself realize that in the long term the dictatorship type of government will not be suitable for the common people. So the constitution help us to protect by making certain decisions which in terms of you can say people, common people, or after a passage of time you will yourself realize that those decisions are not good for the society. Now let's discuss about the introduction of our constitution. As we were slaves for many years, like we were not independent before 1947, we were slaves. So many people wanted to be free and they decided that free India should be a democratic country. Okay, that's why democracy was introduced in India, because before that we were slaves, and after that everyone wanted to be free and live a free life in which everyone should be treated equally and allowed to participate in government. So you all know that democratic system of government is a type of government in which every individual participates in the functioning of government. The Constituent Assembly was formed in 1946. There were 300 members and they together wrote the Indian Constitution. These 300 members wrote our Indian Constitution. While making Constitution, they kept several things in mind. Means before creating Constitution, they must have thought about each and every point which were very important at that point of time, and they kept everything in their mind. Like they thought that different people live here in India, as it is a country where people from different religion, caste, they live at one place, their interests should be treated equally. Means every individual, doesn't matter to which caste or religion he or she belongs to, their interests should be treated equally. Now the key features of our constitution, the Indian Constitution, its key features. There are various key features of Indian Constitution about which we'll study one by one. As this point I have discussed earlier also in the previous slide, like a group of 300 people became members of the Constituent Assembly in 1946 and had written Indian Constitution. While writing the Indian Constitution, these members kept in mind the different communities who speak different languages, belong to different religions and have distinct culture. Let's start with the federalism, the key feature of Indian Constitution. This reforms to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. In India, we have governments at the state level, at the center, and Panchayati Raj at the village level. It means that, like if you study Indian Constitution or you see the Indian government, here there are three levels of government. At central level, there is central government to look after the interest of state people. There is state government, and at local level, or local level, like the Gram Panchayat, Gram Sabha, Municipal Corporation, Municipality, these are the local governments which looks after at the smaller level. Then comes the parliamentary form of government. The people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives through elections. Also, every citizen of the country, irrespective of his or her social background, can contest in elections. It means that here in India, we follow universal adult franchise. It means that every individual has a direct role in electing their representatives. Like those who are adult, more than 18 years of age, they can vote and select their leaders. So in India, doesn't matter to which caste or religion one person belongs to, he or she, if they are above age of 18 years, they can vote and they can participate in elections, and through those elections they can select their own representatives. This is all about the parliamentary form of government. We'll soon meet with the second part of this chapter. Hope you got the concept in this chapter. I'll request you all to go through this presentation one more time for better understanding. Thank you and have a nice day.